Sorry, let's move. All right. I think we can start now. Yes, sir.
Finally there. Yes.
I hope, because the thing is, internet is fluctuating, just like as usual.
You hope what?
That there will be no more fluctuation.
It's not about fluctuation. It's about you coming late. That's all you talk about fluctuation. All these things that you are taking our time. My friend, what is it? It's not about fluctuation. All what you have taken 30 minutes to do, you have been done before we come here.
If we don't, it will be. Good morning, honorable board members. I welcome you to this meeting. We thank God for keeping us alive and making us to be available for this meeting today. We will now start because I think we form a quorum, and I would like to share the agenda right now. Thank you. Well, I hope you can see the agenda. The beginning is to adopt the agenda. If we are okay with the content, please. Okay. Seconded by? Thank you very much, Mr. President.
I don't know how would be tossing mic around in this small room. Okay, thank you very much. Let me. Maybe Tony, you should just pray for us first. Yes, the mic is closer.
Okay.
Okay,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Lord Almighty Father in heaven, thank you for making it possible for us to come again today, deliberate on issues that it concerns our society. We pray that at the end of our deliberations, we're able to come up with solutions, suggestions, and ways that will bring about the growth of the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineering Society, and also our country and the world at large. For our members unable to join us, we pray that you'll be with them, and those that are joining us virtually, we pray that you also be with them. And for all of us, we pray that at the end of the meeting, you also take us back to our various destinations in sound mind and body. For these are the intentions present you to Christ our Lord.
Thank you very much, Tony. And let me also seize the opportunity to welcome you, DMP, our IPP. I don't know who else is on video there. Is it Ben Akaka there or who? Or it's only IPP that is? Who is? Oh no, it's our secretariat here. Yeah, okay, no problem. Other members of the board, let me seize this opportunity to welcome you. I think for the first time since 2019, I can't remember which meeting. January 2020, yes, we have not had any physical meeting. Today, at least, we are having a hybrid. Wow, so we thank God for that. And let me also congratulate the board for the successful Fellows Conference that we had yesterday. We should just take note of some of the lapses and make sure that we improve over that in the forthcoming conference. Without any much ado, but let me also express our displeasure with what happened this morning. Yes, let it be on record that we are not happy with what has happened. We have taken almost 30 minutes just to prepare for a meeting that ought to have been done long before we came here. So please take note so that we don't have such lapses going forward. With that, I would say let's roll off with the agenda of the meeting. Yes, go ahead. I think the next is minutes of meeting. Yeah. So the minutes of meeting of what date is that? Of 21st March, of May, July, so, yeah. 9th July, okay. The minutes is on the screen. If there are any corrections, no, you are going too fast for us. Yeah, really. That's the first page. That's page 3. Yeah, go back to the page 1. Yeah. So corrections, please, from starting from 1 of 11. Go ahead, 2 of 11. 3 of 11. 4 of 11. All these distractions. What is it, my friend? It's all distractions. 5 of 11. 6 of 11. 7. 8. 9. 10 of 11. And finally, page 11. Okay. So can someone move the other? Seconded by IPP. It's muted. IPP, you can unmute yourself.
Okay. I second the motion for adoption of the minutes.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, with that, we now go into matters arising. Yes.
Yes, himself is also muted.
Yeah, you call him, but when you have
Yes, we're not hearing you.
Yeah, I will start that again. I first apologize for the interruption, and then I went on to. Yes, I think I will just shift the. Let me see the. Yeah, yes, that's right. That's right. Okay, so I will now go to the matters arising. The first item has to do with the NSChE collaboration. It was reported during the last meeting that the MP tried to fix a meeting with the president of MAN to discuss the way forward. All that has been resolved now, according to the brief on the status. The position which we are in now is that the white paper has been endorsed. The 6-man committee comprising 3 each from NSChE and MAN has been constituted to chart the implementation process. So NSChE representatives on the committee are Dr. John Erina, Professor Ayokuye, and Engineer NSChE Afolabi. So that is the position with that. Okay.
With profound respect, this white paper, we don't see any of these things, or is it a privilege of only a few people?
Okay, the addition I made is that I'm liaising with the MAN president to get a suitable time to inaugurate the committee. That will be done virtually, and it doesn't have to be physical. And we expect that the assignment for the committee will not last more than 3 to 4 weeks.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Chair,
Mr.
President.
Said NSChE.
Sorry, Mr. President.
I just said that the group dynamics report has been submitted to the NSChE headquarters. That's the report on that. All right. Then the next is the National Secretariat building. Yes, that's all. That's the other report. No, they will do the usual thing. They will assess it, and we know the results at the conference. All right. Okay. Okay, someone was talking online. Okay. IPP, could you please come back with that? We didn't hear that.
I said on the MAN thing, is it still a back office work, or until it's launched, we don't see any documents? Huh?
Come again.
I said all the white paper and everything for MAN,
Yeah.
are they confidential things until launch?
Oh, we have circulated that to you. I think I sent it to you, IPP. But we can repeat that. We have sent you the, yeah, you are in the circulation of the white paper. And also, okay, what we will do is that we will send it again. There are 3 things that we will send to you. 1 is the white paper itself. 2 is the drilling down of the white paper by our 3-man committee of John Erina and Kuye and Afolabi. And then the 3rd one is the meeting at which this resolution was taken. So we'll send you documents on that.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, all right.
All right, we go to item 3 now. The item 3 is a National Secretariat building. The target is 250 million, but as of yesterday, we received another 5 million on top of what we received before. So we now have 15.75 million. I added that name because the alert came yesterday night. Engineer Connie They donated 5 million yesterday after the conference. Yes, so we have 15 million. All right. The next is a fellows conference. We had a successful hybrid conference yesterday at Sheraton. Okay. Yes, you are going to. Yeah. Yes, those papers were not actually submitted yesterday as it were. Or maybe I didn't collect them. Yeah, what I intend to do is to collect the papers virtually. So, I couldn't leave my desk. I didn't see my boys to greet. They were not. It wasn't there, and it was too late to do anything. I won't be operating alone. I mean, I need people to do it. I think I did what I needed to do yesterday. I'm sure you saw that. Okay. Okay. What is it? For them to feel while we are. Okay, but you have not followed up. I wanted to collect, but unfortunately my man wasn't there. I tried to get him. But I will do just like he said. I will do it. I mean, it's my job to do. Even if they didn't come for the conference, we do get the. Yes, go ahead. Thank you very much. The 2021 conference was. I don't want to. This thing used to happen every year that we do because there are 3 events. It used to happen. It happened before your time. You need to understand it, sir. You need to understand that this happens every time that we do because we did it. Yes.
Please, are we still on this meeting?
That time that I wanted to be wasn't there. Unfortunately, yeah, you did. Yes. Exactly. Yes. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing. If I didn't do that, I won't be able to do what I'm doing. But the issue I was raising is that when we have fellows conference and board and council, the board used to have an issue because of the effect of that job on the following day. We cannot be able to meet up. We spend 8 hours on the road. I've said that before here. All right. So the fellows conference, this was a hybrid one. The event was chaired by Mrs. Tuki Mabokinde. The speakers were Pastor Itua Igudalo and Mr. Njib Bako was ably represented. And then the actual event was to also ensure that 10 fellows are elected. And yesterday, 10 fellows were elected. I will bring the board on the details of that on their memos. I don't know whether there's any comment on that. Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, we're not hearing DMPO.
Yes, actually, we have a problem of communication. I was asked to write a letter about the NSChE delegate.
Can you go down, please? Prof, yes, it's becoming down.
So is this the best microphone that you people can get to run a hybrid meeting? Now, wow.
IPP. IPP, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so sorry, I will keep you waiting. Something came up again. One of the lapses again of the secretariat. Professor Ogunye was supposed to go to Firo this morning with a delegation, and they are supposed to have a letter from the secretariat. Apparently, he told the yes, and that letter has not been prepared or somehow. So we have just sent ES downstairs now to go and collect some of the past copies of past documents to get to Professor Ogunye immediately. So that's why the break now.
Okay. So.
All right.
No problem. Thanks.
Yeah, but we didn't collect your small form yesterday.
Which small form?
Yours was virtual now.
Which small form is that one?
There was one form for the building that was circulated for pledges.
When it bubbles up in my, I'm like IOCs. I have priorities of investments. When it bubbles up to the top, okay, it will come.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
When it comes to the top of my list, definitely it will come. I have it in mind.
And then they said, oh, they estimated it. So you replace it. It's okay, you replace it, but not available now.
Are you okay?
Yes, we found the letter. Okay. All right. So
Somebody that want
to meet him. No, not to feel. No, it's already. They wanted a copy.
Okay.
I didn't know that letter was part of what he wanted.
Okay. So the person is taking it to him.
To him, they said it's not to me.
No, he has already moved. He has already moved.
From his no.
It's not downstairs. The person should now take it to him in field because if he goes down, he won't see him there. So whoever it is,
okay.
He doesn't see it.
Okay. I will. What he told the NT was
Just to feel straight, that's all.
Because the last comment he made was that he has moved.
okay.
And so whoever it is should bring it to him.
Okay. Firo is okay.
Yeah, it should.
No.
The time he moved, he would be around
That time. No, he said was already on the way.
Yeah, all the way is bridge here now, but how did the guy go? Who is taking him up?
Person should take
Was
motorcycle.
he If it's a bike,
Because likely under that condition,
if it's a bike, he'll catch him. Either he catches him here or catch him at the bus terminal. Because I'm sure he will take a airport side.
so you can't cross. Okay. It's better you just go through.
That construction they are making is interfering with the normal roads.
GRA, they come out of it.
Yesterday, it took me over
And go where
an
from
hour.
and go. I'm saying that why would you go to Oshodi from this side when you are here? You are going to Firo. Firo is on the right side of towards Antonio. So all you need to do is just go to airport international.
Okay,
And
that's
go to Oshodi. Why would I go to?
There's a construction at
Yesterday, it helped me for about an hour.
I know it now, but the point is, if you are this one, you have two options. You know what is causing the also this construction that is going on here, linking the Agege motor. So you have the option of just going as if you are going to police college. And then climb the bridge.
So now you are now on Lagos.
Don't forget, I'll jump on the old motorways and then. I used to come by Lagos.
Oh,
so there is no bus stop that I don't know. Jump for motorway that I'm not there. The lady is that when I first came, I couldn't understand what you are saying.
Okay, the way they call the bus stop.
Especially that also.
Can we?
Yeah.
Can we say that?
Yeah, it's not
still
trying to phone it, but it's not
who?
to the person who went to see if I can.
Tell somebody else now. Who
Maybe
is that
Charles.
person?
Charles.
Somebody else to find that one.
All right, we'll have to continue. Well, I'm sorry for that interruption. We need to continue with the meeting. The last item that I actually talked about is 4, which is Fellows Conference. I did say that we had a successful conference, and now, and that day we also finally elected 10 fellows, but that I will go to the details on the memo. All right, so the next item has to do with outstanding issues with DPR. The planned visit is yet to hold. At the last meeting, Professor Nicola was to organize that meeting. So we haven't had that yet.
Yeah, but then, with the passage of the PIA, there are new developments where DPR itself is restructured into two arms of one the Commission for Upstream, and the other one the Authority for Midstream and Downstream. So I believe whatever arrangement we're making, we just have to put that on hold until the new board of the two regulators take effect, so that we, in other words, now we have to visit two regulators, the commission and the authority. Yeah.
Because there was something in the news last week or then we spoke about the heads of the two commission of the authority.
That has gone to Senate now. I think Senate has passed passed the nominations. Yeah, yeah. We have names now on the board and the executive of those two authorities. Farouk is downstream, midstream and downstream. Then Komolafe is upstream. That's the one that was substituted with Farouk. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Yes. All right.
All right. So we'll now go on to memos. We finished with sorry. Memo support. Sorry, but it's all right. The first item of memos has to do with what we did yesterday. That's the Fellows Conference. There were 10 applicants. We have their names and position being displayed right now. The first is Engineer Lawatu, Sheriff Timothy Kibun, and Eguatu, and so on and so forth, up till number 10, which is Engineer Otto Arinze. Yeah, no, all of them were approved. All of were approved. Yes, all of them were approved. So all the 10 applicants were elected by the Board of Fellows. So the prayer is that the board should recommend these elected fellows to council for confirmation. Thank you. Approved.
Sorry, MP.
Yes,
Hi, can you hear me?
The IPP is on the line.
Yeah, sorry, MPs, first,
Yeah, endorse.
when DMP talks, we don't hear. When the DMP talks with without microphone, we don't hear.
Yeah, I think the IPP is saying something.
IPP, we can hear you well.
Your network there, or whatever a KE IT platform you're using there is a problem. But what I'm saying is that when, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm saying that when the DMP talks, we don't hear at all because he doesn't use microphone.
Okay,
so
rewind. Let him rewind.
Yeah, we were just commenting that yesterday at the Board of Fellows meeting, they agreed with the 10 names that were put forward. So the board, as of today, is endorsing to the council for approval tomorrow. That's all.
Okay, now this is routine for us.
Yeah, it's just mere routine now.
It's routine for us.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. The next item has to do with the secretariat. We had 2 resignations within the quarter. The first one is admin officer, and the second is the NIL estate officer. Mr. Victor is a chemical engineer who was employed as an intern in 2014, was later converted to exploitation there. Yes. Okay. Just a moment. In the way, yes. What we're doing is, what I'm actually asking for there is that we need to replace, we need to employ 2 people, and there were 2 options. It's either we bring in 2 youth corpers that we actually retain if they are good, or we advertise for 2 graduate trainees that we can bring up just the same way we brought this one up. He was there for about 7 years in all. So I think within the period, he grasped the job very well. And perhaps that was why somebody now decided to pick him up. So what I was asking for is, in principle, approving this proposal. Yeah, exactly. I'm displaying it now. I said we currently need to replace Mr. Victor. Yes. At the end of the service year, if found suitable, or employ 2 new graduate trainees that will bring up, that will train.
So you get to use corporate to train them to this level.
Yeah.
So it's training.
Yeah, it's training also. Yes, I said that because of what I'm seeing. We've been asking for youth corpers for some time now, and it's like the caliber or the kind of people they're sending, they don't seem suitable.
Well, if we can identify 2 graduate trainees, we can employ them, train them for the requisite period. Of course, they will be on probation for some months, 3 months or 6 months, as the case may be.
That's right.
And then if they perform during the period of their probation, we confirm them and they continue in the role. I think that is a lot better for us. Right. We'll have more commitment.
Yes.
We'll have more dedication rather than depending on youth corpers.
How are you going what qualities are
you? You'll have to advertise, state the requirements in the usual manner as you will do.
We do.
Yep.
There's
yep.
no problem with that at all. So thank you. Yeah. It's a couple of engineers. Yes.
How many years?
Yeah, like I said, he came here as an intern 2014. Yes. So 7 years. 7 years in all. Yeah.
So that is what we are going to replace. We just say the ordinary training.
Yeah, I trained him. So that's why I'm saying that. He was trained. He was trained on the job. And I can tell you that even within this system now, there was apparently no vacuum because we have Charles there who's been here for 12 years, even though he's an accountant. He was the one that has been doing the job since Victor left. He has attended the first meeting of AEC. He has written the report and he's doing fine. But we need a chemical engineer, the way I'm looking at it. And then we want to take it off.
I think the point the president is making is that you will state in the advert the requirements for the person who will present himself for interview, and then you interview the persons. Of course, naturally, if the person comes, he will grow on the job. Yeah. So when you say new graduate trainees, why is there the emphasis on trainees? Just we advertise for suitable graduates, and then they come in, they will grow on the job.
Okay. All right. So we advertise for graduates.
So are we? What job was Victor?
He was an admin officer, an administrative job. Yes. Yeah.
So what are the challenges that we need going forward? Victor is out.
Yeah.
So for me, really, call it, proficiency in IT. Most, yeah, what I need. It's not about just moving paper from one place to another. Those are those kind of things. What we need is somebody who is proficient. Exactly. Must he be a chemical engineer? To me, no. Not necessarily, even though Victor was a chemical engineer, but you are doing an admin job. Okay? So really, you have to be clear about the kind of qualities you want of that graduate.
Okay.
All right.
No problem. Thank you. So we'll go to the next one. The next person there is Mr. Bisi Olubodi. He was actually NIL staff for more than 2 decades or so. But when NIL ran into difficulties, he was moved to Secretariat. That the Secretariat should assist in
Just remind me, what is NIEL?
Okay, NICAM Industrial Estate.
Oh, NICAM.
Industrial Estate, yes. Professor Bello is the chairman. All right. So actually, NIL is now almost more or less moribund, even though we still have some properties and all that, but they are not functional.
Not an active company.
No, it's not an active company. Yes. So NSChE has been paying the salary, but in September, he reported that he actually resigned, stating that his health was failing, and then he actually, he wrote a letter to the chairman asking that we should look at paying him his gratuity. Apparently, since his former company is moribund, there wasn't actually anything on the ground. So the chairman pleaded that NSChE should, on compassionate ground, look at paying this gratuity. And normal gratuity is worked based on the monthly salary, that is the basic, times the number of years that was done. So because he worked for 27 years plus, this came to amounted to 1.398 million. Okay, so that's what I'm recommending, that we should look at approving and paid from the welfare account of the society, because there's no other account currently that we can use. But before that can be done, maybe I'll show you in a little while. The man sent a letter that is not properly signed. It was just a mail. I think I sent a copy to the president. So he needs to regularize that. But far more important than that is that actually the secretary does not know anything about any other properties. Everything was domiciled with him. So he needs to do a proper handover note and proper physical handing over of whatever belongs to NIL for future activity, in case when anybody wants to take over. Right now, the secretariat will not be in position to say anything about NIL should we be asked. So he hasn't done that. So, but while in principle, because he said his health is failing, he needs money to take care of his health. Well, in order for him not to die in the process of waiting for anything, we might approve, but you will need to carry out this before that payment is made. That's what I'm saying here.
Yes, the payment of the gratuity, the NIL, are they not going to contribute anything to that payment?
Yes, in actual fact, I did raise that in my memo to the chairman. He said the NIL has nothing for now that they can contribute, so that we should look at it.
Were they generating any funds? Were they paying salary? What exactly were the functions that have been carried out? What was the advantage to the society? I mean, these are questions that I would imagine that we need to have answers to.
Thank you. Please, since he was an NIL staff before being adopted by the secretariat, for how long has he worked with the secretariat?
Okay.
And what was he actually doing for the secretariat? Because we need to know these things so that we don't use emotions to pay for what we do not have?
Thank you very much. The one that I know was, so when I joined, so he's worked with Secretariat for about 6 years. Actually, it's a little bit more than that, maybe about 8-9 years. So what he has actually been fixed on was more of like debt collection. He's been the one that is responsible for contacting all our debtors. He's been the one that has been sending mails, contacting them by phone, by SMS, everything around the year. You know, that's the major task that we are seeing, because from the exchanges that happen even between the last board and NIEL chairman, it was apparent that there is no particular responsibility, all right, where it can be productively engaged in the secretariat. But then they wanted him to remain because there was an anticipated victory on the land cases, which were all over the place. All right, you know, from the presidential speech, you can see that, you know, a victory was actually won in 2019, but up to now, there hasn't been any progress. You know, the people, I think, are placing all sorts of barriers. So it was in anticipation that it may still be useful, all right, if those cases are true. You know, we normally talk about Papa land to land, then the other land. It was in anticipation for that victory, because they were hoping that they would make the money from there, you know, from sales and all that. Professor Gui has explained this in several fora, you know, that it was retained. All right, so that's what happened.
Yes. Well, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what to say, but I was just thinking that, but since they don't have funds, maybe we can just try to build them out just this one time.
Is it really about bailing them up? Somebody gave you a secondee and you've been using him for 9 years. It's not for us here to start asking whether he was useful for that 9 years. You kept him, you are using him, and now he fell ill and he has to resign. He has resigned. Meanwhile, the guy who gave you the person, the company is more or less moribund. In the absence of any terms of that secondment, because I believe there was no any contract, secondary contract between you and between NSChE and NEIL. There was no any agreement. Was there?
Well, there wasn't any specific contractual agreement. Well, I can say it's like a gentleman's.
No. So the understanding is that you are going to use him and you are going to be paying his salary, and you've been paying his salary. Now he has resigned. The question of his gratuity doesn't. You don't even need to raise that question. You are the one to pay. For me, really, I mean, it's not an issue unless it is expressly stated in the agreement that seconded him to us, that disengagement responsibilities will be.
Well, there was something like that in a letter that was written by the former ES, but it was never agreed.
So. Please, I think this is just purely an administrative issue, and I don't also want you to start introducing some bureaucratic bottlenecks in paying that guy, because I have seen you subject to so, which you are not in control of. Because you are saying that he should go and submit all the things that he has with NIL.
The NIL files should be with him here, but
no.
Hand over the files.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Such that
oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought there is NIL property with him.
And it's only after that
no problem. Let not be. The guy is sick and he needs money. Have we? He has been here with you for 9 years. So what else will you do?
Yes.
All right. So this approved.
Thank you.
To be clear, there is no need to employ somebody else to carry on those functions.
No.
There should be no need. For Victor.
No, it's actually the two is just a coincidence.
I know. What I'm saying is, whatever role he was carrying out should now be assigned to, others within our staff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
No replacement for him.
Okay.
It wasn't actually counted before us. Yeah. All right. The next item there has to do with the accounts officer, not me. Yeah. It's one of those things when you're doing something in the night, it works like that. All right. So, Mr. Adeosh joined the society on 13th August 2001. So consequently, she has served the society meritoriously for 20 years. I therefore recommend her that she should be given a long service award as follows. This is a plaque and a 50,000 cash award. This to be given during the annual dinner award night. Thank you. Up till now, it's not there. And I think that's something that I believe in we should start. We need to look at it. But in lieu of that, I think it's good to consider this for now while we look at the long-term thing, because we should normally even have 5, 10, 15 years in line with what others are doing. Yeah. Another one. Okay.
We just come out with a long service award policy for the society, and that says that if you spend 10 years, we give you this and that. If we give you 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, and so on and so forth. Rather than, because this one you just out of your mind, you just brought 50,000. How did you get 50,000 now?
Well, I look at what some others are doing.
Who are the others?
In this building, we have
leave this building alone.
We have Aken. We have Aken. I'm sure you know Aken. All right, Aken is in this building. So if they are doing something, I don't think we should be far from.
You need a policy paper to the board, so that we just like any other.
Okay, but
that's why I ask. This one would have just been very simple. It would have been administrative. You don't even need to come to board. Yeah.
Okay, that we've not done that. Can I please?
No. We are not approving that 50.
Okay, we're not going to approve.
It's coming off your head.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
We need a proper policy, and if you won't do it, we still give it to that salaries committee of
can we
Victor.
Administrative led then, because I was looking at the conference, and then that it would be a good forum to do such a thing.
We were looking at what? She will get it anytime, but let in fact the resolution is very simple. Let the salaries committee bring up a proposal paper on that policy of the long service award policy, or any other policy that will attract some money, either in terms of retirement or in terms of whatever you think of, both long service and disengagement. So let the Tony Ogenebo's committee look at it. Exactly. Yeah. In fact, she's still here now. Let's do the proper thing. Okay.
Okay.
You will get her entitlement. No doubt about it. Yeah. Why not?
Okay, that's all right. Next is reconciliation of NSChE and AVL accounts. I'm looking at the NCGMB account. At the beginning, when we visited Simbi, after that visit, we embarked on the project, and then the NSChE spent some money to start it. The total amount of expenses made was 1.793 million. I have the details somewhere. And then when they were asked to go and register with PPP and all that, a lot of money was spent because NVI has not been operating for years. For example, they were owing the auditors for 7 years. They were not paid. They have not audited their accounts for several years. They have to do that and pay tax. And then they have to finalize payment of consultation fee to the auditors as well. All those ones amounted to 2.54627 million. And then when you add the NCDMD expenses to the loan given to them, it worked out to be 4.339 million. But recently, NVL paid the amount below, that's 595,703 from the proceeds of NCDMB contract which they are doing. So when I look at the difference, it came down to 3,744,265.01. All right, that is the amount that apparently they are owing now. So what I'm thinking of doing is to prepare this debit notes and I send to them to let them know that this is the amount they need to pay back to NSChE. There may not be any major movement of funds. What will only happen is that, you know, where the building account is also owing NVL. What will happen is that this is just to balance the books. The money was actually taken, these loans, for example, were actually taken from the building account, all right? So, but it's good to straighten out the books so that there won't be a question of somebody saying he's owing, the other one is owing when they are not owing anybody anything. That's the actual essence.
Why did at the board?
Sir?
Why did issue at the board?
Okay, she didn't be here. All right. Yeah. No, this is there's nothing written up.
Are you saying there was?
Are you saying that there was a previous 2-point-something million which was written off, and that this is another 2 something?
No, I'm actually not aware of that one, but you know, there was no.
Okay.
Okay, but no. But what we were talking about now is within the last 1 year. I did not meet.
When did they incur this?
It's in your report.
For what?
It's in the report.
For what?
Okay, you mean the loan?
Yes, for what?
Okay, the first one was when they were supposed to register with BPP. All right, so they have to call in the auditors and get the auditor accounts audited. All right. Meanwhile, they have been owing the auditors for 7 years. For 7 years, we didn't pay, so they have to pay that before the auditors will even listen to them. Then the auditors audited their books, and so the tax liability of 1.6 million was raised, and so they have to pay that as well. Then they have to pay the consultation fee of the auditors.
The question that is running through my mind: you made a statement that they remitted the amount of 595,000 to NSChE sometime
within the last 2 months or something.
Yes, yes. That implies that they must have earned some money from their business. So, I know. So that's what I'm heading to, which means they are making money somewhere. So if NSChE advanced a loan to them, then they should pay back that loan to NSChE. And if you are saying that that loan was advanced to them from the building fund, then that money should be returned back to the building fund from what they are doing. So it is not that it should be treated as largesse.
Okay. And I think that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. It should be refunded back to the building account.
This is a one-sided reconciliation.
Yeah, okay, it is two-sided.
It's one-sided. Because are you not owing NVL for services they have done either at the building or somewhere? I don't know. Please, that's why I say, what's the intent of bringing this to the board?
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you very much. All right. The last item there is to talk about the salary review. I said, I wish to appreciate the Salaries and Wages Commission and the MP for the recent. It's our own network. It's our own network. Yeah. They won't hear us. They will be there. All right. I'll take that again. I said, I wish to appreciate the Salaries and Wages Commission and MP for the recent salary review that was done for the national secretarial staff. However, we would like to submit as follows. One, my input was not sought by the commission, hence there was no opportunity to explain my reasons for the relative percentages which are recommended. Then two, although the recent resignations by the staff were merely coincidental, but the occurrence has validated my recommendation in some ways. Then three, I did say at that time of my presentation that the percentage increase were based on performance and market value of the job, which some secretarial staff are currently earning below the market value, and the admin officer was one. And then the next one is the lower cadre staff in our office are currently earning either the equivalent of the market value or even earning above it based on our findings. Then five, actually, Mr. Bisolugodi, who was given 15%, that's by myself, was not really a national secretarial staff as such. The increase was more of cost of living adjustment. Then the next one is the two key staff that operate with the ES, admin and accounts officers. And these are the people that make things happen. Others are assisting or watch things happen. There are three categories of staff at the NS: junior, senior management staff. The guideline of 20% maximum is applicable to each level, and it is not expected that one level will sacrifice its increase for the other level. Unfortunately, the ES is the only employee on that level. Then for the records, Professor Wame gave 20% increase to the ES, and also Professor Adefila. The ES performance has not waned ever. Then number 8 is, it is difficult to imagine that Mr. Charles will get a slight increase over and above Mr. Adeoshi. Mr. Adeoshi has served the site for 20 years as against 12 years for Charles. The gap is supposed to reflect in their income more so as Mr. Adeoshi is performing well in a role. Then I said, although the NT average increase showed 19.7%, it is actually about 18%. Hence, there's still room to make adjustments. Then the last point is that the increase in cost of goods and services is phenomenal to the extent that the current increase was already consumed before arrival. These are just my comments. Actually, there is no resolution. Yeah, yes. Yes, it has been implemented. These are my comments. Well, you know, when comments are made, there can be another comment. well, we've got it.
MP, please, let's not discuss this issue here. This meeting is dragging. Please.
IPP, go ahead.
I said, please, let's not discuss these comments here. These comments are not for the board.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what they
please,
really want.
Let's not, these comments are not for the board. You shouldn't have even put it here. He had a committee, and he should have put his comments to the committee before the committee will give a final recommendation. How can he? Is it because of access to the board that he will come here and list comments? This is improper now.
Yeah, I think you have steered. So you have options. What you would have done is to consult the committee and say, these are my points. But for us, we cannot start taking all these ones. That's why I said, has the salary been implemented? Has the new one been implemented? So okay. So you go through the channel of the committee, and the committee will give a board a report, need be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. The last item there has to do with the Ashobo Fund.
By the way, for the records, I hope this is not coming from. I don't want to see this thing on the council meeting tomorrow.
No, we don't normally discuss.
Well, I don't know.
We don't normally discuss.
Because you are in charge of matters arising, and a lot of times I don't see what goes to matters arising. I only see them at the council meeting. Okay. And then I'm surprised. So some of the things that should not even get to the council, they just go there and then we start talking.
Usually we don't discuss the issue of like this in the council.
Well. I'm just warning. That's all.
Okay. All right. So the Parashoda Foundation, I'm pleased to inform you that Parashoda's Foundation has now been duly registered by CAC. So we'll now move forward to open the account and perhaps release funds for the foundation. Thank you. That's the last item. There isn't much comment to make on that. Yes, on the no, but the memos. All right, so we'll now go on to 54th annual conference. The report came in just early around 3 a.m. this morning or so. Yes. Yeah, Prof has told us yesterday. Yes, that's about it. Yes. Yes,
it's not different from what we are.
No, because that was after the meeting.
Okay, so this I'm sure they will give a council. Okay, no problem.
So I'm thinking that under that condition, maybe we should just go to finance and then
finance.
I should think so. Let me see if I can. Just a moment.
Okay. That's the summary of the financial report for the first quarter of this financial year, July 2021 through September 2021.
Doesn't look like that's the one.
So the summary, the total revenue for the period was 16.279 million, representing 21.14% of the revenue budget that was set at 67.45 million. Expenditure for the period was 8.941 million, 15.19%.
No, this is not it. It looks like it's even gone.
Okay, the total revenue for the period was 16.279 million, representing 21.14% of the revenue budget. That was 67. Okay, total revenue for the period was 16.279 million, representing 21.14% of the revenue budget. That was 67.45 million. Expenditure for the period was 8.941 million naira, representing 15.19% of the expenditure budget of the year. That is 58.849 million naira. Looking at the budget head for the revenue, the following budget heads the following budget heads did well with respect to the budget. That's membership. Oh, there's a mistake. It is not under. Okay, yeah. Under revenue did very well with respect to the budget. That's the membership dues. That's both for individual and company. Library dues, the journals, magazines, and the special building levy. We are hoping to see improved performance for some other budget heads the next 3 quarters that we have, including the annual conference and the fellow confab that was held yesterday when we get the report for that. On the expenses side, most budget heads under expenses performed very well within the budget, and we are hoping that the performance is sustained in the next 3 quarters, and this stood at 15.19% as against the average of 25%. So the budget, the finances are still looking very good as it stands. Yes. Revenue is 16.279%, but this is also having the special building fund level. Yes, 21.14%. 25, yes, as well. No, 25 because it's the first quarter. This is the first quarter. Yes, it's the first quarter of the year. Yes, NSChE year.
Okay, what inclusive?
That's from July to September.
Okay.
So by the next one, it will be 6 months. From 1st of July, yes. Yes, exactly. I want to share it equally. Yes, but from experience, that's what is here right now. Yes, but
that's all right. I'm not looking for it.
Okay.
And then we are supposed to spend
25. 15.1, yes.
So my question is on the expenditure.
Okay.
Is it that we were able to save cost, or is it that has not come that we now go?
Yes. Well, from my own experience, the first quarter is usually characterized by this realm of expenditure percentage, though so many of the budget head, like I said, actually did very well with respect to the budget. So many of them, almost all of them did very well so far. But we'll start seeing the more effect at the end of the second quarter after the conference is when we now see the true reflection of these accounts. So the other one is spreadsheets. The spreadsheet is just showing the various items and how they perform. Yes, but we're not put so many rates now. Just most of them are still blue, it's still fresh. Okay, so and then the other one is the company membership. We still continue to plead with council members, board members, those ones that those companies were able to talk to. Some people promised to talk to some companies, so we'll try to remind them tomorrow at the meeting. So that's all. Then we have the audited report that we normally present at the AGM. So it's ready. It's a reflection of our last report that we gave for the entire year. So this is a summary. So we have checked and it's okay, conforms with what we have. So the president has signed this document and I've also signed it. So just to show us that this is just to mention this.
External auditor.
Yes, external auditor.
Audited account.
Yes, audited account. So just like in the normal practice, they will also make their presentation at the AGM. So yes, I think that's all. Yes, it's ready.
So meanwhile, we are looking at on other pages. Okay. So we have done 8A. Yes. Okay. So we are on to it.
I have 3 things to present, or AOB. But I'll be very brief. The first one has to do with the first one has to do with the standards, championed by Dr. Udo. If we recall, in 2019, NSChE was represented at the training by ASTM in Côte d'Ivoire. This year, there's supposed to be another training, and they communicated with us. But somehow, the lady in SON was upset that NSChE was the only group represented in Côte d'Ivoire. And she said that it was because Dr. Udo was the chair of the standards committee at that time. And so she was not pleased that it was only NSChE. I called Dr. Udo to tell him the development. And he said, okay, that he will speak to the lady. And after that, Dr. Udo does not pick my call if the line pulls through at all. So I just want to report to the House that if we are not part of the training, I don't really know what it means to the society. But I just think we will be cut off from the standards, organized by ASTM, actually in collaboration with Standard Organization of Nigeria. So that's the first. Any comments? This year, what's her name again? This year, it's supposed to be in the US, so it's hybrid. So either you go or you join, yes, virtually. Because I can't push it. It's Dr. Udo that can push it. Okay, it's part of the sectorial group. Yes, codes and standards headed by Dr. Udo. I think previously we fell short, of the NSC dynamics in that area. And then Dr. Udo came up and helped us to climb up. And so since then, he's been the head of codes and standards. So to further our presence, he was chair of the standards for the downstream with SON. And so that gave him the liberty to be at the training organized by ASTM and in collaboration with SON. But he was indisposed that time. So he asked me to represent him in Côte d'Ivoire, which I did. And as I came back, I gave the reports, everything that was given. November 2019, sir. Same week with our AGM that year. So that was why I was not at the AGM that in the year 2019. So we were supposed to have the second training in 2020, but this COVID and no COVID disrupted everything. So it was now fixed for 2021. So 2021, although they have moved it from June to November. November now, it's like it's open-ended. It's likely to be next year. But then they were asking us, okay, which standards do we want to look at? Which I forwarded to Dr. Udo, that I needed his input for us to know which standards we should be trained on, both in testing and then the actual standards, the specifications. So after that, we were now like, okay, ready for the training, which was hybrid. Either you are in the US or you join virtually from wherever you are. So it was at that point, the lady from SON now said no, that she does not approve that it's only NSChE, that there are other stakeholders that should be called upon to be part of the training. I didn't object, but then I called Dr. Udo's attention to it, that this is what this woman is pulling.
there's a basic misunderstanding on the part of Mrs. Ayeni, is it not? Anyway, whoever the officer is in SON, okay? Whoever, okay, she has retired. Okay, right. Whoever that officer is in SON is supposed to be a member of the sectoral group. Yes. Whoever it is. If she is not interested in being a member of the sectoral group, that's it. The sectoral group is a sectoral group of NSChE. It's just like HSC. Any HSC practitioner is free to join that sectoral group. So if the sectoral group arranges for an activity, all the members of the sectoral group should participate. It is not that NSChE and SON, simply because it's dealing with standards, then they should go to SON and say, NSChE is arranging this, therefore you come. No, no, it's a sectoral group activity, okay? And the sectoral group, you know, arranges things and, you know, they attend. So whoever is in charge in SON, it so happened that Mrs. Ayeni, because I know her, you know, we worked on a number of committees at all the time. She happened to be in SON. I was a member of the sectoral group. That's how I knew her name. So whoever has succeeded her, if it happens that in this case it's not a chemical engineer, that's a pity. But, you know, encourage them to join the sectoral group and participate in the activities of the sectoral group. For her to stay aside and she's not in support because she was not consulted. It's a sectoral group. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you understand my my viewpoint. Yes, yes.
So,
yes.
Sorry, MP, can I please
Yes.
make a comment? I'm not quite sure it has to do with sectorial group, DMP. We have a Codes and Standards Committee of the society, which UDO chairs. And the activities of that body led to UDO being nominated to chair a certain committee within the Nigerian Standard Organization. So to the best of my knowledge, the training is actually organized through standards organization. That's why the woman is throwing weight. So it is important. I am not aware that UDO has been dropped from whatever committee that he's chairing or is a member of in standards organization. If that has happened, then he probably would have communicated to the secretariat. To the extent that UDO is still there, he is still the right person to talk to the woman and resolve the issue. Why he is not taking the call of Madam is quite strange. And I can see some kind of exasperation. So the executive secretary to reach UDO to resolve the issue. Then if UDO has a challenge, then he can escalate it to the national president to see how it can be resolved. That's my thinking.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Yeah, that's fine. I thought she made reference to sectoral group.
No, you guys.
Yeah.
That it's not only NSChE and all that.
Okay.
Even though it's NSChE that rekindled their interest and took it to that level. And it's UDO that did it. I don't know why UDO is not talking to Madam. So it's either ES should try to talk to UDO, and if you cannot get in, at least we'll find out what is wrong.
Yeah, that's why I want DMP to dig into that rather than between Secretariat and UDO. The DMP can intervene between. Let's get the root of the issue first.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, madam, that's number one of three.
Thank you, sir. I was supposed to mention this one first, to apologize for coming late for the meeting, because usually the meeting is for the board meeting used to be 11. Yes, yes. When? I didn't observe it.
To my kicking and screaming, the national president changed it to 10.
Thank you very much, Engineer Yoko. Thank you very much, IPP.
Okay, then the last one is I didn't notice it. Okay.
We have 5 minutes more on that respect.
Okay, then the last one is our sectorial.
I'm following your rules.
So the last one is the sectorial group. I observed that some sectorial groups are not functional, so I'm just wondering what we can do to make them. The one on ICT. That's yes. There's one on ICT. That is yes. Yes, sir.
No, I was waiting if I can comment. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, it's actually not the only one on ICT that is not functional now. But like I've always said in my reports, these sectional groups, they are operating at different levels of vibrancy. All right. The ICT started, and in fact, they submitted some reports. Some things are actually work in progress with them, but it doesn't look like something that can be done continuously, like what some other sector groups are doing. So I only need to link up with those the coordinators to continue. But the one that is immediately obvious is the solid minerals, because the head of that committee is now saddled with some political events and all that. So yeah, that's a CACA, yes. So they haven't done anything for a while now. I was actually talking to the secretary yesterday at the fellows. Well, yeah. So we have a problem with that. So that is my responsibility to continuously to ensure that at least they continue. But I think there's also a limit to what I can do. I can only talk to them and ask them to please continue with the job. So that's the process.
Yeah, you need to do that, because I mean the committees are not one-man committee. Now, if the chairperson or is engaged in other things, I mean you should be reminded to delegate, and then the responsibilities now fall onto the vice or deputy, as the case may be. So please.
All right.
All right. So is that all? He's usually aware, but I mean, hardly does he join. He's usually busy.
Well, I will try, but we have to look at my schedule. If I'm to do my job,
yeah.
I need to plan it so that I end up doing not doing the wrong things and not actually doing the right things. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, two issues. One is that I have not seen. Yes, I reminded you yesterday, we initiated meetings with chapter chairman and heads of departments. I don't want us to lose the tempo. I don't want us to lose trail on what we started, what we want to perpetuate. Because we ask you to write the actionable points in the forms of just action notes to those HODs so that we follow up and then schedule another meeting. That was the directive at the last board meeting. You have not done that. I want that please done immediately so that we can be able to talk to them I discussed this thing at length with you yesterday. So I don't want to repeat what I said yesterday to you.
Consider it done. Consider it done.
That is one. Then number two, which is more worrisome, it is IT. Our website job, I remember this was discussed and certain directives were given to you at the board here. I have not seen it. It's either matters arising or do I have seen it? Did I see anything as a follow-up? So I don't even know where we are. I know there was an issue about the consultant and you, and then some things needs to resolve. I can't remember exactly what we resolved at the board meeting, but I have not seen any report on it. And meanwhile, I don't know where we are really. The state of IT in this association is so bad, really, to the extent that we are still on Yahoo. For me, you remember, I mean, since DMP, I've never had a mail anyway. I've never been on that platform. It's unfortunate now as president of the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, I'm still, you are the one even sending me mails on Yahoo. So really, all sorts of things. And all these sectorial groups, conferences that would have been on a centralized platform, they go on their own initiative. The chapters do their own on their own initiative, whereas we are supposed to have a centralized this. How can we be world class? We are having friendship with the likes of the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, yet we just send them mails on Yahoo or whatsoever. I mean, it's not right. First, what did we resolve? I cannot remember. And what has been done on the resolutions that we took?
Thank you very much, MP. Last meeting, actually, we resolved that we are going to bring in a new person to look at the website. So I've come a new web developer to give us a brand new website, because what we have now, even though if you go there, you have the materials there, actually, but it's not functional, especially in some respect that we ought to, especially on finance. For example, that day I said, if you paid, as a fellow, you paid 25,600 or like engineering quote 18,600, what we will receive is 18,144, about 400 naira gone, apart from what we're going to pay to the bank. I've seen what is operating now on the conference website. When you pay 27,000, what is removed there is only about 9 or 10 naira. So I've told the former developer about this before, that this is completely unacceptable. He said he can't do anything about it. He said he cannot do anything about it. The former web developer. So we are actually looking at the new web developer. The DMP introduced somebody to us. I've spoken to him, and but he's away abroad right now. So, but one thing that has intervened in my job schedule was the fact that between July and September, that's when we normally prepare a dynamics report. The dynamics report, like I did say, which I didn't elaborate, is very intensive. It takes about 3 months to do. So we were busy on that. In between, my admin officer resigned. I had to put up the effort to ensure that it's ready for the time. That took my time, because they now also said, initially they said we'll do only soft copy. Then later they said we should do both hard and soft copy. That took a long time to do, So that affected my ability to do a lot of other things that I would have done within the period. Some of these things, actually, I don't delegate them, like all this report that we're talking about, because I think it falls under my remit to make sure that it's done properly. So now when I discussed with the new consultant, he said when he's back, he will visit our office. I'm expecting that next week or so, because it wasn't certain the date he will return. So we're going to have to come up with a time schedule that we're going to do this. But meanwhile, I've said before that the intensive work we're going to do is going to be after the conference, more so after the conference and the end of the year, because our current subscription on this website is ending in January. So I'm targeting that between the period after the conference and the end of the year, we'll intensify our effort to see how far we can go. The fact of the case is that there is a website. It's not that there's no website. And we can actually do even what we are saying that even right now, decentralization. But most of the people, for some reason, are just not interested in going there. Because at the beginning, when they went there, they were disappointed with what the experience they had. And as for your mail, your mail is functional, the DOP is functional. The only thing that needed to be done was to transfer the MP to you. But you have to sit down and look at this common website and see the words that we can adopt on the new and what changes we're going to make that will make it much better than what we have right now, as it were. So because of that, because in this position, that was why we didn't have anything on the, whether matters arising or memo. I have not concluded or I have not gone deep enough to enable you to have this. This I'm going to do. I that within the next 2-3 weeks, we should be having some kind of figure because already we have some 2 million in the budget now. What we're saying was that 2 million cannot do it. I'm aware of that actually, but we did put that just we now have to supplementary budgets when we have the actual figures as it were to do it. But we have the mind to do it definitely. But one of the handicap, like I said, was we were preparing for the board meeting, for the board of fellows meeting, the board and council meeting. We're having one today and tomorrow. These are the very intensive times that we have to do all the preparation for it. It takes time to do properly if we're not to mess up things. So this is what has happened so far. So we are working actually on it to get it done. Thank you.
So we're not hearing,
Oh, sorry, IPP. I said if something has been discussed at the board, then it has to be reflected in the minutes and the matters arising. You can't just wish it away. We now have to force a status report from you. But in any case, your report has been noted, but
sorry, MP, I'm not sure I understood this is a report.
Well, his report is verbal now that he's doing something that he's working with somebody and they're looking, and the man has traveled. I can help you out. That we have asked him to liaise with somebody and then he's looking for that somebody. The person has traveled and they are also very busy with a fellows conference and the national conference coming up. So this is a very intensive time. So everything that we may expect on the website cannot happen until after the conference. That's a summary of it.
All those conferences.
That is a summary of the report now. Have I left anything out?
That's it.
That is summary. That is summary of the report. So, no problem. All right.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure a recommendation or a suggestion of somebody thoroughly excludes other options in such a way that that person, if he decides to go to the moon, then that's the end. I've never seen where procurement is done in that way, in an area where there are so many web developers all over the place. So, and like I say, I don't understand what he said though, unless if we don't give him a specific deadline. This is what we're going to get the thereafter. He's going to be very busy doing things up and down, and he's not going to be able to look at it and all that. This is a classic excuse now we get all the time. It's a classic excuse. Yeah, you can work and chew gum at the same time. We're trained to multitask. So I'm not too sure that anybody circumscribed into one vendor, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, IPP, if I can interject, even when you were the MP, I remember you have given about 3 or 4 deadlines on the website.
Yeah. So this is what we are going to be.
So giving another deadline, doesn't work. And the same goes really. I mean, if you are repeating the same thing, it's not working. Maybe you have to try another way.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any AOB item? No, as a confirmation, first of all, you know, when you are making the report on man, I say we are going to have an inauguration of the 6-man committee. Have we formally communicated that 3-man committee? Or
Yeah, I've told
you have told? Told.
Yeah, yes.
Told.
Yes.
No, it's not told.
Yes.
I said write them a letter. They wrote us now. Okay. Please, a formal letter introducing even if you don't send it, you just send an email. Yeah, that's all. Send him an email. Further to his email. You have the last email from him. Further to that, there you can follow that string and now say this is the confirmation of NSChE's 3 members. Blah blah blah. So please kindly arrange for inauguration with the national president. I mean, president of man. That's all. Because I can't remember seeing that mail. That's why it came to my head now. Yeah.
But it's a company now, isn't it?
Maybe you are not very familiar with these things. That is why you are finding it difficult to act on it. If you need somebody to help you, get somebody to help you. I know. The admin person should be somebody who is competent and please, so that help you. Don't see. Yes. Do not feel embarrassed. There's a saying we have in English. The only stupid question is that which you don't ask. The only stupid question is that which you don't ask. So if you are deficient in Nigeria, then help. It's fine. It will help you become more efficient. And then the society is better for it. So, don't be embarrassed.
I'm saying that I'm not. Most of the things on the website that we have now, they were done by me.
Why have we not enhanced it to a level where, if that is the case, why haven't we enhanced it to the level that we want? If we have already spent so much money and you said many things are working, the only bits that are not working, we should address them. That's all. And with the same website developer, rather than even looking for anybody new. We've been talking about this, and that is why I reminded IPP, the deadlines have always been conclude with this developer, and we want it working. We want it working by so. He has given so many deadlines before. And exactly, we have now spent so much money on it. And but I see from all the reports that I have been seeing, I have seen there is even a personality issue between you and the developer. And once that has come in, because really there are scope changes which the developer says, look, we are not, you are coming into the middle of the game, introducing this, introducing that. I don't want to go into all those things. We even set it aside. We say, okay, why don't you even look for a new developer? Totally. Since working with the existing developer is not paying us. If you are here confirming that yes, to a certain level, 70% of what is supposed to be on that website is running, why don't you concentrate on the 30%? Get it resolved with the correct developer. What's the big deal?
Can I respond?
Go ahead.
Actually, the area that we have an issue with, I cannot do that one, especially the financial. I know, but I'm responding to issue of being embarrassed. There's no embarrassment whatsoever. And this is why I'm talking about, because I will tell you that I've talked to him. But the thing is that we will need to do what we have agreed we're going to do. We will make a change. Because that's the only way we can move forward. The man is not capable of doing what we want him to do in that area. I know, but I've given you an example. In the finance, we will be losing so much money. And on the current conference site, which was run by somebody else who happened to have been there before, the conference website, you pay. It's the same, it's running. I'm saying when you pay 27,000, the only thing you lose is between 9 and 10 naira. If it's our man, you can be losing like 400 naira. How do you take that kind of thing? I can't do that work. Yes.
Sorry, MP. Who did the conference website?
Exactly.
It's Adeyombo. It is our man who left here.
So you can also
So what
to
is
him.
the problem now?
It doesn't have to be only the company that I only suggested that company because I they did some work for us. But you can explore others. The functionality of a website doesn't have to do with what is the amount that they deduct from payments that are made on the website. There's a lot. There's content. There's the interactability of the website. How easily people can navigate. There are a number of things. Okay. So, and it's not your responsibility for a website to be functioning the way it should function. Okay. That is why you get a web developer. Okay. Yeah. And a web administrator. So it depends on the kind of contract you sign. The person can just develop it and continue to maintain it for you, or just develop and you get somebody else, whatever. So, but the thing is, do the needful so that we can have the website that is befitting to the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers. I think that's.
Thank you.
This matter since I'm sure before I became DMP. No, 3 weeks. Okay, yes, okay. I know it's before I became DMP, so it's not today. So resolution. What's the resolution now? I want it from you so that you write it the way you resolve.
Okay, you mean concerning this matter?
Yes.
Okay, that we should forge ahead and get the new contract. So with that, we should forge ahead to ensure that this new website is done.
Which new website again? When you said 70%, existing website has 70% acceptance.
No, I didn't put
and then we have a functional. I have also made payment through the conference website. It was seamless. So, and the person who did it is not running away. So, is it difficult to get the man who did the conference website to look at this one and look at this one, and you bring two of them together, and then if we what the platform of the conference website is not deducting more than you want, then let the other man implement after all these are modules. The payment is a module, and they integrate it. So this the payment module of a conference website, whether it's Paystack or whatever, can be integrated into our own website for payment to happen. So it's not a complex issue. Like the MP said, you need to talk with the people, the both sides. Even the new person you are going to bring, you still have to talk with him to get the thing to work. What if it's the same thing? That you can't talk to the person you employ or you contracted to do. So you need to talk to get the man. If it's not, call the man of the conference website and let him look at our own payment and give you a solution.
Yeah,
50% was my example. So let me hear from you. What percentage will you allocate from 0 to 100 of that website that is good? You will now say 0.
I've not thought about that because that will require my looking at.
You will now say 0 because you don't like the guy. Yes, now.
I'm the one saying what I've been saying.
No,
So
no,
I've not
but
changed.
you are the one who confirmed here that so many things are working.
Yeah,
Around it.
but I
You
didn't
even send
assign
my
any
email, my
percentage.
everything, all other things. People who cannot make payments anyway, or do they make payments? Our register of even membership, I don't know. So many things.
Yeah. Anyway, I think
So many things
we
that are
need.
hanging. Can we do what IPP said we can?
Is a second option, but I think we need.
What is the first one?
The first one is that what we agreed the other time, that we should bring in a new man to look at what we have now and let help us to resolve the matter. Because the man we've been working with, we worked with him for 3 years.
Who did the conference one?
This conference one?
Yeah. Is it not a new one?
Exactly. Okay.
The man who did the conference one, is he not a new man?
It's actually not that new.
New, not that new in what sense?
Yeah, in the sense that the website that we removed, all right, to put in this one, it was the one that did that one.
Yeah, so but you have paid him to do what he has done on the conference. Can you now look at what is needs to be done here and pay him to do it? That's all. That's what
because we are integrating. Because I had someone, for example, saying that website looked like a clone website. You know, that the conference website.
Yeah, let it be cloned, so be it. But what we are saying that
so these are the
wait now. Yes, the conference website was even unnecessary. If we had an effective website, they would have read it on us. So you go to the website of Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, you see the conference section, registration, program of the conference, blah 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 blah. That is how it should have been. But because we had none, that's what made the conference organizing committee to go ahead and do what they wanted to do.
I told them to do that because I knew this other one was functional.
It's an admission, fine, an admission of failure.
I told them to do that.
Yes, that's
because
another.
they will go through hell.
It's an admission of failure. That's why you directed them to do that.
No, failure on the part of the developer, not me.
You know,
I mean, you
failure,
know,
I didn't say failure, but you are just going round.
You know, years we never admit failure. So please, years we never admit failure. And yes, sorry, MP. You hit it right. If our website was working, we won't have so many cloned. Conference website has so many, at least 3 other groups have cloned conference website. So that you probably will go and make a wrong payment. In fact, each time I had to go to conference website, I had to go to my WhatsApp to look at the correct URL to be able to trace it. Yeah. But if we have our own website, all these things will not happen. Exactly. But the person who did the conference website, to all intents and purposes, is new with respect to our own website that we want to solve. So please ask him to look at it. Since his own is working and the payment is acceptable to you,
it's not only the payment. I only mentioned that as an example. There are a number of things, just like that, things that are working. There are a number of things too that are not working on the other one. So in order to not to get confused along the line again, because what I observed was that we always said, what this thing, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we need to have patience and let us solve it once and for all. That's the way I look at it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. The resolution is that you will still look at what we earlier resolved to do, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. But the sideline of the resolution is that when we have been doing something the one way and it has not been working, we have to think out of the box. And we are going to do that. Okay. Any other IPP?
I think can I rightfully move for adjournment?
Oh, okay. No, we are looking for AOB first. If there is no any other AOB. If there is no any other AOB. Okay, so IPP, go ahead.
MP, thanks. I'll move for adjournment of the board meeting.
Seconded by? Thank you very much.
All right. So thank you very much for making it within 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, sir. So we see tomorrow. Council meeting is what time? 10. Okay. Of course.
10 for 10.
10. You know, that's why I'm looking at ES now. It's 10.
I was in these premises before 10.
No,
sir.
it's 10.
I was in these premises before 10. I was there.
You were where?
At the time you saw me wasn't the time I was coming.
No, let me tell you, yes. I came to this room, you were not there. This, the IT backup guys, we came into the building together.
Okay.
Am I right? We came together, and that was 2 minutes after 10. Yes, we came together with them. So even if you were here, nothing would have been done without them. So, and they ought to have been here by 9 and everything set up, tested, and everything running then before we come. Not that when we sit down here, then you start battling with IT challenges again. So 10 o'clock council meeting. Good. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Yes, is in the mood of prayer. Yes, pray for us.
All right, let us pray. Our Father and our God, we thank you very much this afternoon. We thank you for giving us the grace to go through this meeting. We thank you for our discussions. Lord, we pray that you help us to implement all the decisions that we've taken this afternoon, that will enable the society to move forward. As we go now, please go with us. Guide and protect us. Let us meet here tomorrow for the council meeting, hale and hearty, and give us the grace to be able to have useful discussions also tomorrow. Thank you, Lord. Blessed be your name, O God. In Jesus' precious name I pray. Amen.